There have been more major resignations within the Department of Justice. We are learning that Denise Chung, the head of the criminal division in the Washington, D.C.'s U.S. Attorney's Office, resigned on Tuesday after deputy AGs essentially ordered her to have an investigation into certain Biden era climate contracts and to open up a grand jury, which could lead to criminal indictments with people affiliated or associated with the Biden administration. This Denise Chung was a very well-respected person within the Department of Justice, a career person, a highly qualified person, and she resigned ostensibly the reason that other people resigned, including people who were right-wing conservative prosecutors who said, you're not going to get me to file things that are unethical, that are improper, that are potentially criminal. You must think I am a fool to carry out these types of orders. We talked about others, for example, in the Southern District of New York office who sent these real hard-hitting, but, I think historically courageous letters. Now, there are some people who are saying, should these people be resigning, though, because you're now losing the good talent? But then again, if good talent is being forced to engage in criminal conduct or unethical conduct, their bar licenses are on the line. And I know, Harry, you and hundreds of other top federal prosecutors, former top federal prosecutors, sent a letter to the current rank and file prosecutor. So first, why don't we start with Denise Chung? How big of a deal is this? And then let's talk about the letter that you and other federal prosecutors, former prosecutors, sent to the current rank and file about what they should do, about your support of them. Let's get into it, Harry.
Okay, so first, but for it having happened a few times in the last week, it would be an earthquake. It really is already for somebody high up like that to resign rather than execute an improper order. Look, you may not ethically convene a grand jury with all the potential expense, reputational damage, other consequences to individuals unless you have the predicate there. Now, she is someone who's already been suffering under the new regime. Ed Martin Jr., who's just been nominated to be the U.S. attorney in Washington, which, as you noted, is the biggest office in the entire DOJ country. It's got over 300 prosecutors. They do local DC stuff and federal stuff. He has been an absolute political actor. Well, he is himself an election denier, raised money for the January 6th defendants, lobbied for their pardons and the like. And he has, since coming in, really followed an extremely ideological pro-January 6th, even more, but also pro-Trump agenda, including, and this ties into the illegal order that she refused to execute, trying to charge the Biden administration with having done illegal activities and had political reprisals, and also assuring completely inappropriately Elon Musk that they would have his back if anybody was challenging DOJ, which this is also involved in. But Ben, dark days at the DOJ. A senior person like that, as you say, it's a terrible dilemma. You're leaving your colleagues and the people you've supervised in the lurch. But when they walk you to the wall and put a gun to your head and say, do this unlawful things, violate your oath, exactly as they did to Danielle Sassoon, and that's a direct order. That's what an honorable prosecutor has to do. That's the only choice the honorable prosecutor is left with. Can try to push back, as Danielle Sassoon did. They ignored her there. I'm sure they ignored Chung here. And there is nothing left to do. But that the the rank and file within the department, and this will move to the letter, are 100% aware that some of the most esteemed colleagues and real sort of leaders in the department are being put in this untenable situation, and by the department leadership, by the two top people in the department saying, do these unlawful things. That is a position that obviously no prosecutor ever should be put in, but no one at DOJ ever has. So the letter, look, there have been these 6 resignations. There was this total brutal, really Gestapo tactics of putting everyone in the room and say, you guys have an hour, choose who's going to sign this document. One of them said, I never thought this could take place in America. And the important thing to note, and the reason for this letter by almost 1,000 of my colleagues, and it was very quickly, that number would have been much, much more with a little bit more time. You have to understand, everybody in the department, senior, junior, Democrat, Republican, arch conservative, arch liberal, understands that this is the most sort of elementary of corrupt conduct, trying to force people to undertake illegal activity and do things not on the basis of the facts and the law, their entire watchword. This is not a matter of sort of dispute or debate within the various offices. Everyone understands this is as ugly an attack and from within as the department has ever experienced. And even if the the flow is staunched now, the fact that these unlawful orders have prevailed, even to the point of forcing people to resign so other people will do it, is just a complete violation in the most sort of basic terms of what the department is supposed to stand for, and what the 10,000 plus attorneys across the country have assumed is an inviolable axiom, that you do justice without fear or favor, not based on political agenda of Donald Trump and his cronies. So everyone, I think, is not simply irate, but unsettled, afraid. Are they going to be put in the same position? Will they need to choose between their livelihood, career, and their oaths? Will they be forced to actually violate the law by orders of higher ups? It's the last thing anybody in the department of any political affiliation would have done. Just before we got on, I saw a note from Chris Christie, noted Republican U.S. attorney, strong Republican, saying, you just can't do this. This is completely beyond the pale. It's the most fundamental point that it's a rank violation of oaths, and that it's coming from within the department is just nauseating. It's going to take a long time for the department to recover from this blow.
Harry, I'm a law professor in California. Yeah. You're a law professor. Before that, you began your career clerking for 2 United States Supreme Court justices. You went on to grow into being one of the top federal prosecutors within the Department of Justice, main justice in Washington, D.C. You were a United States attorney, meaning the top federal prosecutor in the Western District of Pennsylvania. And I could go on through your resume, but, there are a lot of other prosecutors out there who who are people who go through a certain type of path, and who do the right things, who studied in the right places, who have shown merit and rose through the ranks, have proven to be good prosecutors. And there's been a process to get top talented people, at the Department of Justice and at these positions, starting with careers that begin in law school. Part of what we're seeing is just the upending of a meritocracy for this kakistocracy, and picking people who just really don't have the resumes. And these are the people who are out there making these orders to people who do have the resumes. I mean, you speak to this guy, Ed Martin, who's the United States attorney for Washington, D.C., one of, that basically, maybe you could say SDNY, go back, they'll probably have their rivalries, but one of the top offices, one of the top positions, like just if you look at this guy's background, setting aside that he's promoted January 6th insurrectionists, said they're courageous people and heroes, but just on the resume, it's like you've never been a prosecutor before, right? Just talk to qualifications and merit.
Yeah. First time in 50 years, the head of that office doesn't have judicial or prosecutorial experience. Look who quit. Look who resigned in the Southern District of New York. Danielle Sassoon, a clerk for Scalia, and the man who was handling the Adams case himself, a clerk for John Roberts, and also Brett Kavanaugh. It has traditionally been a very highly sought after job, and one that really attracted people of great credentials because they wanted to be in public service. They all make a fraction of what they otherwise would make, but for the privilege of representing the United States and being able to come to work and do the right thing every day. And it's exactly that that's just been decapitated by these brutes, these invaders that don't care at all about it. And it's not simply, so for starters, it's true. The very most qualified folks, I think it's going to be a long time until it's got the sort of same appeal. But more than that, Ben, the place runs on institutional memory, on leadership of the generation above, who schools the next people in the ethos of the Department of Justice, and justice without fear or favor. And I had supervisors said, no, we just got to dismiss that. We don't have it there. You're not going to just go after people. You've got to do the right thing. That institutional memory resides in the kind of senior respected leadership that are the exact cadre of people who are now resigning. So it's not simply that you've had all these qualified people many will leave and say, it's my time to get out of here, take the stupid, 8-month offer or whatever, and be replaced by people who don't come close to the qualifications. But besides an overall less qualified force, you'll be losing so much of the kind of cultural, institutional mindset that really is what makes the Department of Justice the premier institution. It has always been, through Democrats, Republicans, whatever administration, until this existential challenge of just the last 3 weeks.
Harry Litman runs the Talking Feds YouTube channel, the Talking Feds Substack, and the Talking Feds podcast. All are top rated, and it's where I get my legal news from. And so if you want to know, when I try to find the source, I want to hear what the former top feds are saying about this all, because experts are important. So go check out the Talking Feds YouTube channel, the Talking Feds podcast, and the Talking Feds Substack. Harry Litman, thank you so much.
Thank you, Ben.
Can't get enough Meidas? Check out the Meidas Plus Substack for ad-free articles, reports, podcasts, daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, and more. Sign up for free now at MeidasPlus.com.